Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Business Insider that was published on December 29th and is written by Alan Smith. Trump has waged a year-long war against Amazon, and its day of reckoning could be coming. Now, I hope its day of reckoning happens because Amazon has been taking advantage of consumers, has been taking advantage of sellers, it's been taking advantage of the government. It's time that it stops. And what gets me is Amazon is this, money producing like machine. It's a dynamo at doing that. Yet it gets, basically this corporate welfare from the federal government that it shouldn't need for any reason. For example, the post office. Us as the American taxpayer are paying, for Amazon to ship goods. The post office loses almost $1.50. It's $1.49 or 45, or I just saw it. I think it's $1.49. So we'll say $1.50. They lose $1.50 every package that they're shipping for Amazon. Now, you telling me whoever worked out that deal with Amazon wasn't in bed with them? Come on now. It's time Amazon pays their freaking fair share on shit. This is like, a representative republic with a capitalism-based society, okay, like economically, okay? We're not going to provide you with corporate socialism. Fuck off. So President Donald Trump blasted Amazon again on Friday. He has been waging a year-long war, yep. Now the question is whether he'll take substantial action against the internet giant. And I hope he does, because, he has been delivering, taxes. He's been fighting with, the Democrats to try to get shit done. And he's managing to do it now. Good or bad, I voted for him just to fuck shit up. To totally stir things up. And if he makes things better, great. If he takes shit down, the system and all that, I'm for it too, because it's got cancer. It's rotted. All right? And the only way that we're going to end up seeing sensible government again is if it gets knocked down a peg or two. President Donald Trump has a pretty clear least favorite company in America, Amazon. The president again took aim at the e-commerce giant on Friday morning, tweeting that the company was unfairly reaping the benefits of a great deal with the U.S. Postal Service. Trump said the deal was enriching Amazon while making the USPS dumber and poorer. And he's USPS. And he's right. It is making them dumber and poorer. Okay? But the thing is, the Postal Service, okay, Reagan in the 80s, he saw that the Postal Service, like Trump, it's kind of funny how Trump is doing similar things to Reagan. Reagan gets praised. Trump, it's, chicken little sky is falling fucking shit. It makes absolutely no sense, okay? Because Reagan in the 80s cleaned up the postal system, all right? Well, obviously not him personally, but he had them go through, streamline it, and make it so that it was actually profitable. Trump is trying to make it so that it isn't hemorrhaging money and costing taxpayers. See, the mentality of the left, okay, is the Postal Service is a service, okay? It's run by the government. It's not about profit, okay? So what do? They get in bed with these crony, capitalistic companies that only can survive. I wouldn't even call them capitalistic, because the only way that they can survive with their profit margins intact, okay, is through corporate welfare. They get in bed with these companies, and then they work these sweet deals for them, and you end up with this type of situation here. Why is the United States Post Office, which is losing many billions of dollars a year while charging Amazon and others so little to deliver their packages, making Amazon richer and the post office dumber and poorer, Trump tweeted. Should be charging much more. And he's right, okay? Because if you look at who is actually like benefiting from the deal, okay? The whole idea of the Postal Service is to benefit the general public, not a few select companies. So is it benefiting the American people being run the way it is? Of course it isn't. Not unless you literally live off of Amazon and every single thing you get comes from there, then other people are subsidizing your shit. But if you don't do that, which most, the overwhelming majority of people don't, we're getting screwed so that they can make a little more money. And I mean, I'm all for capitalism. This isn't capitalism. So I don't want someone to go and say, well, you're just upset that they found out. No, I'm not upset that they found, say like a loophole, or they found, how to work the system, how to, negotiate a quote-unquote good deal. To me, that's not a good deal. To me, if we're going to have, a federalized postal service, all right, it shouldn't be operating at a negative cost for private corporations. Shouldn't. That was just the latest salvo Trump has fired at the internet behemoth. In August, he accused the company of doing great damage to tax-paying retailers, adding that towns, cities, and states throughout the U.S. are being hurt. Many jobs are lost. And he's right about that. And I got no problems with a company coming in and, selling products online. But when you have Amazon being able to ship and have it cost the taxpayer $1.50, okay, they can then take that $1.50 and put it towards lowering the price of their products, which now gives them an unfair competitive advantage because they're getting subsidized. So they can take that money, consider it just a wash their hands, zero sum, no loss type situation, and pass it on their pricing. And we're still paying, you're still paying for it as a taxpayer, but they're passing it on so that they can undercut, other businesses. If they didn't have that corporate welfare, they wouldn't be able to do something like that. And I'm sure that's how they manage to lower their prices, is they figure that $1.50 in so that they can be the lowest price. I mean, that's how you figure out your cost for a product and your profit margin and everything else, is you figure all the different costs involved to have that product into the equation. And beginning last December, Trump took hit after hit at the Washington Post, which is owned by Amazon's founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, tying the publication to Amazon. Which, basically, see, Bezos was expecting, his girl Hillary to get in and the status quo. And if you look at the Washington Post, I mean, it isn't called the Washington Ship Post for no reason. It isn't called fake news for no reason. It's because you've got Bezos, okay, who's running the Washington Post. All right, he's a businessman. And this should tell people something about the Washington Post. He is running that, okay, not as a business. It's a charity. Literally, out of his fucking pocket. He is paying for losses with that business. Okay? If you're going to pay out of pocket for something, and it's supposed to be a business, you've got a reason for why you're doing that. Could it be the fact that he wanted to have the ability to sling mud, push propaganda, and lies? Very good possibility. I mean, I find it a little bit convenient when the Washington Post is being looked at for the fake news that it is, that there's a Washington Post movie, okay, about something that was done like 40 years ago to go, hey, look, the Washington Post, they're credible. They're not propaganda. They're not lying to you. Well, he's turned it into an even bigger fucking joke than it was before he got his hands on it. Because of all the fake shit that they've been, the fake news and the propaganda and slanting shit to make it look a certain way, to go after Trump. I mean, so what has Bezos got it in? Why is it part of his portfolio? You got to wonder. It ain't about making money. And with the shit that it puts out, kind of gives you an idea. He accused the Post of possibly being a lobbyist weapon for the company, seeking to keep politicians from looking into Amazon no-tax monopoly. Yeah. I mean, of course it is. If the Post is pushing this thing of, hey, don't be looking into Amazon and their no-tax monopoly situation. Don't be looking at them screwing over the American people. They're pushing propaganda. They're not a news outlet. So, yeah, he rightfully accused them. He called the publication a big tax shelter for Amazon, the stock of which, he said, would crumble like a paper bag if the company ever had to pay fair taxes. And he attempted to brand the paper as the Amazon Washington Post. And he's right on that one. Okay? Amazon, if it wasn't propping up the Washington Post, the stock would more than crumble like a paper bag. The stock would literally, like, go from, being there to crashing. I mean, it wouldn't even crumble. It would just literally deflate. It would just to nothing. I mean, how the hell, people can just look at the situation with the crap that the Post is putting out and Bezos having a bug up his ass about Trump and not go, there isn't an agenda here? It isn't biased? And go, yeah, right. Though Trump and Bezos have been part of a few meetings together, the Amazon CEO has drawn eyebrows by appearing to wear his emotions on his sleeve. His expressions don't suggest any sort of chemistry between the two leaders. Well, of course not. Because the fucking corporate friggin' welfare gravy train is fucking over. Okay? He put a shit ton of money into fucking the Democrats and Hillary. Okay? And what does he have to show for it? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Zero. Okay? He got porked in the deal. Okay? He ran what integrity the Washington Post had left into the ground. Pushing the Hillary, for president shit. Okay? Having it right. Slanted stories in her favor. Having it cover for her health issues. Having it basically be a propaganda wing of the DNC. He screwed himself because he ran that bit, or he put a shit ton of money, on the wrong horse. He backed the wrong one. He then takes what integrity the Washington Post had, which he bought it with the integrity. It wasn't like he built the integrity of the company. And he runs that into the ground. I mean, what's left? Given all the attacks, it appears the administration is on a collision course with the company. Trump is interested in taking on the corporation, and it could mean Amazon's days as a darling of Washington, D.C. are numbered. Oh, trust me, I got a good feeling they're going to be. And Trump's going to fuck shit up. For instance, Democrats are staking out a platform as a party opposed to mega mergers. Okay. I've never heard that put that way before, but I love this. The Democrats who rubber stamped all these mega mergers, okay? This one just drives me a little fucking batty. Like Comcast, for example. Okay? They're the party against the mega mergers unless you put a shit ton of money into the DNC, Democrats, and Hillary Rodham Clinton. Because Comcast got a free fucking pass when they merged with NBC Universal. And there is no way under FTC guidelines, under federal law, that merger should have been allowed to happen. But because they were Title II, which is a regulated monopoly, they were allowed to purchase NBC Universal without the FTC really batting an eye, because Comcast, being a broadband provider, protected monopoly under Title II. That was what, quote unquote, net neutrality got you. The rubber stamp on the merger of NBC Universal and Comcast. And I love this, how they're beefing up their credentials on antitrust matters. Well, considering they just literally, when they were the last party in control, rubber stamped all that monopoly shit. Rubber stamped mega, mergers. Rubber stamped stuff that there's no way in hell should have passed any scrutiny on, getting approval. They just let it pass. As Business Insider's Alex Morel wrote recently, the direct threat from large corporations like Amazon is spurring the most recent wave of massive mergers. No, that's just greed is good type friggin' 80s shit, friggin' Wall Street type stuff. That's all it is. Don't try to blame it on Amazon, okay? This is... The FTC ain't doing shit, so let's see how far we can push things. And while Amazon's mega merger of 2017, its deal to acquire Whole Foods, went through relatively unscathed, which it shouldn't have, which goes to show how much money Bezos has greased palms with. Huge deals such as AT&T's proposal to acquire Time Warner have received full-scale challenges from the Justice Department, signaling what could be a turning page in the U.S. antitrust practice. Well, no, it was kind of selective antitrust stuff, because you still have Obama, Clinton holdouts in the FTC. Okay, that was just selective enforcement. Recently asked about its thoughts on Amazon and some of the other tech giants possibly becoming too large, the White House told Business Insider in a statement that the internet tech industry was one of the crown jewels of the American economy, but nonetheless, it said the stability of the rule of law equally to all is also a critical component to economic prosperity. Now, I love this one. You got the White House telling Business Insider that, the tech industry, which it is, it is kind of become, like the idea of, say, all the manufacturing during the economic boom leading up to the Great Depression, like with the Rust Belt. I mean, we were known as, the nation of manufacturing, the nation of quality, okay? The nation to buy, consumer goods from. So, I mean, this is kind of the same idea with the tech situation. So I can understand them not wanting to upset them, because that was a crown jewel. This is now the current crown jewel. And to say this, this whole equality of law thing, to say that, just be honest and say, yeah, this was kind of like, oh, don't worry. I mean, it's like, I want to just say, yeah, we're going to look into the fact of if you guys are breaking the law. Just be honest about it. Because this is kind of like, oh, well, don't worry about it. But if you're breaking the law, it will be enforced. I mean, which they say here, violations of the law will be enforced, administration officials said. So, I mean, I got a feeling that Trump wants something done, and you're going to have people be like, but... he's going to be like, no, but, no, do what I fucking told you. But, no, do what I fucking told you. But, do what I told you. And we're going to probably have an issue with Amazon, because as I said, there's clearly, when Whole Foods and Amazon's merger, for all intents and purposes, ends up with a rubber stamp, you're going to know there's going to be resistance. At the same time, cities across the U.S. are burning through taxpayer dollars in an effort to land Amazon's second headquarters. An effort that will prove fruitful for the eventual winner, but that could spur distaste for the company in cities that spend big on the effort and end up empty-handed. Actually, I don't know how beneficial to a community that's really going to be, because they want, like, free shit. They want corporate fucking welfare. So they're going to want probably free property tax. They're probably, if you're in a, an income taxed state, they're going to want their income exempted. They're going to want all these fucking exemptions. So all the revenue that would be coming into that particular location, okay, The only thing you're going to see is if you're, say, a state with an income tax. Is that income tax off the employees? You ain't going to make shit otherwise. I mean, how is this beneficial? Because there is no way in hell that Amazon's going to go to a community where they got to pay their fair fucking share. Yeah, you're trying to make it sound like it's a windfall if they get the headquarters? No. It's not a windfall at all. It'd be like the Postal Service dealing with Amazon. You're going to get fucked. As Business Insider's Kate Taylor has reported, Amazon has picked up a dreaded mantle once held by Walmart, being viewed as the main destroyer of mom-and-pop businesses. Well, it's because they kind of are. It's rightfully earned. At the same time, the company has come under fire for its treatment of employees, even as it's applauded for its benefits it provides. Well, yeah, because it does treat its employees kind of shitty, and now it's trying to replace them all with robots. So you have a company that's living off of corporate welfare, making record money. Because, I mean, that's what that whole postal situation is. It's corporate welfare. Let's call it what it is. You have it now trying to phase out its human employees. It's not like it has a need to say, because of, say, worker shortage, It doesn't have a need for these robots, but it's putting all this money behind it. Because basically Amazon, which to me is just bad business, but when you're living off of corporate welfare, you can do these things, kind of wants to make it so that puts other businesses out of business and then gets rid of its own employees, and you're kind of like living in serfdom, piss poor broke. I mean, that's just kind of how it seems. I wouldn't be surprised because Bezos is a globalist piece of shit. As Taylor has reported, both the left and the right have launched boycott efforts aimed at the company. Amazon has a lot going in its favor as it faces headwinds from Trump. An August poll from the left-leaning public policy polling found that 53% of Trump voters held a favorable view of Amazon, while just 20% held an unfavorable view of the company. Another 27% said they were not sure. Oh, you mean far left-leaning public policy, by the way. Public policy polling. The same public policy polling that said there was absolutely no fucking chance Trump was going to win. They're not really that fucking believable. A lot of people hate Amazon. To try to be like, oh, well, 53% of Trump voters. Yeah. I think it's more than 53%. Or I should say less than 53% hold a favorable view of Amazon. Okay? Because unless you want to wait, fucking a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for your fucking shit, you got to be a Prime member. Because they will let it fucking sit there. There could be nothing going on in the warehouse. Okay? To make you purchase something, to have them ship your product in a timely manner, is sleazy. A lot of people don't like that about Amazon. And a recent Reuters poll found that 60% of online shoppers plan to use Amazon for most of their holiday purchases, a 10-point increase in just 2 years. Well, it's kind of out of necessity to an extent because, some people, they don't have the ability to go and purchase stuff locally. They don't have the ability to get it at a comparative price because when you have corporate welfare, like, the federal government picking up part of the shipping, it's hard for a company to compete against that. Their main competitors, Walmart, Target, and Macy's, all saw a decline in the percentage of shoppers who use their online services. Yes, but how many people walked in through the doors? Because at least from what I've seen around me locally, and I mean I live in an area that's kind of, I guess, suburbia, You could say, so I mean, you have, your commerce and everything else, and I mean, living in a tax-free state, you will see, border jumpers who are even willing to travel to buy stuff to save on taxes. And this Christmas, there were more people out and about buying than last Christmas. I mean, I will say it's not like, decades ago where you would see from the, day after Thanksgiving, the shit hitting the fan with traffic and everything else. But the last week before Christmas, it was like that. And it wasn't like that really last year or the year before. So, I mean, I think more people are going to the stores to buy stuff because certain things you really kind of want to have that tangible experience to make sure that it's something that you do want to buy. I mean, that's one of the downfalls, I think, even still today with, say, a service like Amazon or eBay. You don't necessarily have your hands on the product. So unless you go and look at it at a physical location and then order it, I mean, you're kind of guessing with certain things. But the internet giant now faces opposition in the form of the most powerful person in the world. Now it's a question of whether he and others who side with him decide to move and take meaningful action. Well, they should, I would hope, because you have a situation where Amazon needs to stop taking advantage of the American people. It needs to stop taking advantage of the U.S. government. It needs to stop taking advantage of, being able to grease the palms of members of Congress, whether they're in the House and the Senate, and get what it wants. Okay? It's time that it finally pays the piper and pays its fair share of taxes. That it isn't getting corporate welfare. I mean, Bezos is like Elon Musk, okay? Neither one of them, without corporate welfare, could have, created the businesses that they have. Because when Bezos got the deal for the mail, okay, Amazon was a struggling company, supposedly. It was. So it was like, all right, well, we'll do you a favor, and we'll give you a deal on shipping. They got the deal on shipping. They're now worth how much that they're buying Whole Foods? And they still got the deal? No. And they shouldn't have got the deal in the first place. I hope that, it would be poetic justice if this happened. I hope that the FTC looks at Amazon with Whole Foods and everything else and then forces them to sell Whole Foods. That would be fucking beautiful. That really would. So anyway, I mean, we've got a situation here of Trump being the David's, character, Amazon being the Goliath, and fucking Amazon's about to take a trip and a fall, kind of like, Goliath did. So anyway, I think I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.